Let God guide you, without forcing anything, when letting go of control is the scariest, yet the most divine. What if I told you that many Christians are praying wrong? Yes, you read that right. Some fast, cry out, beg, but they do it out of fear, from a desperate desire to control what is not theirs to control. Lord, do it now. Give me a sign. Show me this is the door. When in reality, what they're doing is trying to manipulate God. And do you know what's the darkest part of all this? That need to force things, to rush times, doesn't come from faith, but from the ego. We want God to guide us, but at the same time, we try to get ahead of His will, disguising our impatience with holy words. We don't trust, we demand. We don't wait, we pressure. And all while repeating phrases like, "Thy will be done," with our fingers crossed behind our backs. How far are we willing to surrender? To truly let Him guide us without our flesh wanting to speed up the process. Many say, "I want to follow God," but only if it doesn't mean waiting, losing, being rejected, walking blindly. And here is the truth few dare to say. Sometimes, letting God guide you is like walking through a dark tunnel without knowing if there's an exit. There are moments when everything falls into silence. No signs, no doors opening, no dreams, no confirmations, no peace. Only an immense and deep spiritual silence. And the first thing we think is, God has abandoned me. But what if that silence wasn't a denial? What if it were a test of trust? The hidden truth, and no one tells you this, is that God's silence doesn't always mean no. Sometimes it means, be silent too, and follow me without understanding anything. This is the moment when many walk away, because they want a God who answers now, who acts now, who opens doors now. But the true God, the one who forges character, faith, and purpose, won't be manipulated by your timings or emotions. He guides you like a potter guides the clay. Slow, firm, without the clay understanding what it will become. And here's the painful truth to accept. You don't have control. You never did. Your anxiety to force outcomes is a subtle form of unbelief. Because if you truly believed, you'd wait in peace. But no, we fight, we scream, we tell God how and when, and then we wonder why everything falls apart. God doesn't need your help to be God. This may hurt, but you need to hear it. God doesn't need your intervention to fulfill His will. He doesn't need you to force doors open, manipulate situations to make everything fit, or convince anyone that you're part of His plan. Do you know what He does need? Your surrender, your obedience, your silence. The hidden truth, what's not preached from the pulpits, is that when you put your hands where only God should work, you spoil the miracle. Like Abraham and Sarah, who, tired of waiting for the promise, forced a human plan and birthed Ishmael. And how many Ishmaels have you created in your life because you couldn't wait? There are relationships you started because you felt peace. But in reality, it was your flesh disguising its anxiety. Doors you opened because everything seemed aligned. But you were the one who pushed every hinge until it broke. And now you bear the consequences of forcing what was never yours. Here's the truth that burns but sets you free. Everything that was forced to begin will need to be forced to be sustained. But what God guides, He sustains Himself. When your prayer becomes spiritual manipulation, this is strong. But it must be said, not everything you call prayer is faith. Sometimes we pray not to surrender, but to convince God to do what we want. And that's no longer prayer. It's manipulation disguised as spirituality. We say, Lord, if this isn't yours, take it away. But deep down we're pleading, Lord, let me keep it even if it's not yours. Do you see the contradiction? We ask for direction, but only accept answers that align with our desires. We tell God, "Guide me," while at the same time making our own plans, budgets, and agendas. And here's the danger that almost no one admits. We can build an idol out of our own dreams and then ask God to bless it. And if He doesn't, we accuse Him. We doubt. We walk away. But God isn't a genie in a lamp, nor a celestial servant. He is Lord. And if He is Lord, then He decides the time, the path, and the how. And if you truly want to be guided by Him, you will have to learn to stop forcing your will, even if it feels like something inside you is dying. The idol of the perfect destiny you created yourself. Look closely. Many are not seeking God's will. They are seeking to fulfill the idealized image they've created in their minds. That perfect partner, that dream job, that life of blessing without processes, without losses, without pain. And deep down, when things don't go as expected, you're not disappointed with God. You're disappointed with your own idol. Yes, that idol you shaped with your illusions, your social media filled with other people's success, your constant comparisons. That bright future that God never promised, but you demanded. And here comes the revelation that many fear to hear. God destroys idols, even if they're in your heart. Even if you love them, even if you prayed for them, even if you believe there's nothing wrong with it. Because if that which you love has become a barrier between you and total surrender to His guidance, then God will undo it. And He won't do it with your permission. He'll do it out of love, because He would rather see you cry over what you lose than watch you lose your entire soul over something you were never meant to have. When God closes doors that you wanted to break down, has a closed door ever hurt you so much that you felt it was unfair? Did you dare to think, "Why, God? If this was something good? What if I told you that not every good door is a door from God?" Here's a raw truth, but a necessary one. What you call an opportunity, God calls a trap. What you see as a blessing, He sees as a diversion. And yes, sometimes it hurts. It hurts when He says no without giving you explanations. It hurts when He pulls you out of a place where you thought you would thrive. But there's something few understand. God doesn't lead you to where everything looks perfect. He leads you to where your soul is safe. And sometimes the only way to protect you is by breaking everything you built. It's letting you cry over the ashes of your plan, so that you finally understand that your life isn't about what you can build, but about what He can redeem. That door that closed, that yes that never came, that person who left, that project that died. What if it was God saving you from yourself? God guides you, but doesn't explain. Here's the darkest part of the process. God is not obligated to explain anything to you. And for many, this is intolerable, because we want guarantees. We want to know why this and why that. But God is not a professor teaching celestial logic. He is the creator of the universe, guiding eternal souls toward eternal purposes. And many times, He will do this without giving you details, without revealing the end, without showing you the whole map. Do you know why? Because if you understood everything, you wouldn't need faith. Look at the Bible. Abraham walked without knowing where he was going. Joseph was sold without understanding the purpose. Mary accepted the plan without knowing the pain. Jesus went to the cross without resistance, because He knew the Father's will is always fulfilled, even when it looks like a disaster. You want signs. You want maps. You want explanations. But God says to you, just trust and walk. Because while you're asking why, God is already working on the for what. And now comes the most hidden part of all, the one that isn't easily preached. Following God's guidance without forcing anything is a form of death. Death to the ego, death to control, death to the plans you so carefully crafted. Because truly letting yourself be guided is not just waiting. It's surrender. It's allowing your soul to be dismantled, your inner structures to collapse, your securities to vanish, until only naked faith and radical obedience remain. And right there, only there, is where what no one told you happens. God starts to truly guide you, but He doesn't lead you on easy paths. He leads you on paths that cut, that confront, that purify. He takes you out of Egypt, but He also takes you to the desert. He shows you the promised land, but makes you circle it for years until your old versions die. Because He doesn't just want to bless you. He wants to transform you. And that transformation will never be forced, but it will never be comfortable either. So the next time you say to Him, "Lord, guide me," without forcing anything, understand that you are surrendering your soul to the refining fire, to the silence that tests, and to the love that, even though it hurts, will never let you go.